or is that a bad thing? What do you feel?
I wouldn't good or bad. I'm probably not the best person to ask about that because I don't enjoy working with videos. I like my practice to be different every day, and videos are, you know, you have one thing, one set of things, but some people, that appeals to a lot of people. So I think it can be an okay thing to do. The one thing about it that's not good is that you don't have anyone there to look at what you're doing and correct you if you're doing something that might injure you. So
Very good. All right. Well, on this portion, we are going to take a little break, and we're going to see some amazing things. Instead of just talking about it, we're going to see some wonderful poses. And thank you. And we'll go to the next part of our program.
thank you, Becky.
All right. Well, Jan, I have had such a thrilling time with you. It's been so wonderful to have you explain yoga here for our wonderful audience out there. Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
And remember, that's Jan Campbell at the Yoga Room in Berry Hill
It's
in
the
Nashville.
Yoga Center.
Woo! It is the Yoga Center, the Yoga Center in Berry Hill, Jan Campbell. And I think that we've all learned a lot, and I'm ready to get my yoga mat out and start doing it. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
So we start with the sun salutation, and this is the first of the forward bends that you will see. And this pose is called downward facing dog pose. Now come forward into a lunge, and then back into downward facing dog, and then lunge on the other side. Back into downward dog. And now little back bending pose, upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. And stepping the feet forward into another forward bending pose, and then back up. And that is just an example of one way of doing a sun salutation. There are many variations on that. And now we will do a series of standing poses put together in a bit of a flow. This first one is called the triangle pose. It has a Sanskrit name, as do all of these. Utthita Trikonasana is the Sanskrit name. Transitioning to Virabhadrasana 2, this is a warrior pose. And this one with the hand down is a lateral side angle pose, Utthita Parshvakonasana. And this is our first balance pose. It's a leg balance using one leg, one arm. It's a half moon pose called Ardha Chandrasana. From here, there's another hero pose, Virabhadrasana 1. And then as I straighten the leg, I come into Parshvottanasana, which is an intense stretch forward. This pose is wide legs, so legs are wide apart, and it's called Prasarita Padottanasana, widespread hands and legs and feet pose. And then we will do the same series on the second side so that it's a balanced practice. First, triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. Virabhadrasana 2, hero pose, or warrior pose, I'm sorry, and Uttita Parshvakonasana, lateral angle pose. Another half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Ardha means half, Chandra is moon. Back into Warrior 1. And straightening the leg into Parshvottanasana. Into Prasarita Parattanasana. And coming back to standing. Now this is our first seated back bend pose. It's a pose called the camel's pose, Ustrasana. And then one more back bending pose just to get an idea of the different areas of the body that are involved in the different poses. So this is a stretch of the front of the body, and it's sometimes called the wheel. It is, the Sanskrit is Urdhva Dhanurasana, so it's upward facing bow pose. Now we have a seated twist with the legs in lotus position called Padmasana. And I'm simply going to twist first to the right. And now to the left. Twistings are very good for the spine. They help the circulation around the spinal muscles. And this one is with one leg in lotus and coming forward over the extended leg into another, what we call a forward bend. So if you look at the shape of this, you can see it is an extension of the back body, whereas the back bending poses were extensions of the front body. So we'll do this on each side to stay balanced. Now the next pose is called Upavishta Konasana. It's a wide angle pose, and you can either stay upright or you can come forward in this to get a little more extension in the inner thighs and in the hamstrings. And this pose is called the cobbler's pose. Another name for it is the bound angle pose, or Baddha Konasana. Kona means angle, Baddha means bound. So the poses in Sanskrit all have English translations, and sometimes they're referred to by their English name, sometimes by their Sanskrit name. So this pose is an example of a few of the inversions that we like to do to balance out our practice. So it gives you some upper arm strength, upper body strength, and also helps with the circulation, since you are reversing the effect of gravity when you're upside down. It's very, it's a good pose to wake you up and make you feel a little more alive. It also, these poses help with depression. If you are suffering from depression, going up into a handstand will help alleviate that. Yeah. So this next position is a pose called a forearm balance. So you're balancing on your elbows, your wrist, and your hands. The head is off the floor, and you can these poses can be done away from the wall so that you're balancing. And in this one, I do move the feet from the wall, and I am balancing, well, for a little while. So these are just two examples of some of the inversions that we do to round out our practice. So there are standing poses, seated poses, twist, back bends, forward bendings, and then some inversions. Okay, so here we go, forearm balance. And then you can do this in the center of the room if you have your balance, and many yoga students are very comfortable doing this in the center of the room. So the feet don't touch the wall in this one. Or you can do it at the wall touching.